Guys, what is going on? As you all know, tomorrow night begins the annual WWE SuperStar shakeup. I'm still calling it the draft. Both rosters are going to be shaken to their core. Who's going to be traded from Raw to SmackDown and vice versa. Actually looking forward to seeing what happens on both shows. Hopefully, both shows benefit. I felt last year Raw benefited easily much more than SmackDown, and coming out of the SuperStar shakeup, I felt SmackDown was hurt. I felt it didn't have as strong a roster as it did at the beginning of the brand split, the second brand split. And hopefully this time around, both shows have an equal amount of talent. So we'll see what happens, but with the SuperStar shakeup coming up tomorrow, these are the top 10 superstars that I would like to see traded from Raw to SmackDown and vice versa. I got 5 going to Raw, 5 going to SmackDown. Feel free to leave your comments down below, and of course, always enjoy getting that user feedback as well. So without further ado, these are the top 5 superstars that I would like to see traded from Raw to SmackDown. We'll start with that. So from here on my list, number 5, I have Jeff Hardy. I felt this was a much needed move once Matt Hardy became woken, whatever you want to call him. Woken Matt Hardy. He's doing fine on his own. Tag team with Bray. You keep him on Raw, I feel would be the best move. I just feel he's a good fit on Raw. Jeff comes back, and if he's not going to be with Matt and Bray, which I don't think he is based on, he returned last week. He's kind of doing his own thing as a singles run. I feel the best move for him. And to me, honestly, back in the day, 2008, 2009, I loved watching SmackDown. 2009 was really a great year for SmackDown with the likes of Jeff Hardy, Edge, CM Punk, Rey Mysterio, Chris Jericho, John Morrison. I mean, it was Ziggler. There's a ton of great talent on that SmackDown brand at that time. And Jeff Hardy was at or near the top. I mean, him and Punk, that feud in 2009 is still one of my favorites. So I think moving Jeff Hardy back to the SmackDown brand would just make sense. Matt on Raw, Jeff on SmackDown, and I think that's the way it should go here. So that's why Jeff Hardy is number 5 on my list. Now this one's interesting here. Number 4 on my list is The Bar. Now at the Greatest Royal Rumble, they will be challenging either the Revival or Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt for the Raw Tag Team Championships. So, I could see them ending up on Raw, but I feel that a move to SmackDown would benefit The Bar because, let's face it, they've ran through all their competition on Raw. I feel if it would benefit anybody at all, if you want to split these guys up in the near future, Cesaro moving to SmackDown is something that I've wanted to see happen for quite a while. So it all depends on, I don't really see them walking out with the Raw Tag Team Championships at the Greatest Royal Rumble. So I don't know if that would prevent them from being traded, but who knows? But I would like to see The Bar moved over to SmackDown Live. Like I said, pressure opponents over there. I think some matches between them, Harper and Rowan, would be great. Of course, the New Day, we've seen them battle it out before. I'm trying to think who else on that SmackDown. Well, if Sanity would get called up, I think those could be a fun series of matches. Sanity versus The Bar. So yeah, I think a move to SmackDown Live would be beneficial for The Bar. Number 3 on my list, I have Finn Balor. And I'm going to throw in Finn Balor and Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, I think, as a complete package. Based on them losing to the Revival last week, I think it's pretty obvious that Gallows and Anderson are going to move. I feel Balor would benefit from the move to SmackDown Live. Kind of gets lost in the shuffle on Raw, and let's face it, ever since he came back, he ain't getting a rematch for the Universal Championship. So does it really matter at this point? Probably not. I think Finn could have a hell of a series of matches with AJ Styles if you want to do him versus AJ. You could have Balor leading the heel faction of the Balor Club, Anderson and Gallows. That could make for a fun series of matches. Like I said, Balor versus Daniel Bryan, Balor versus Shinsuke Nakamura. To me, there are a lot of options for Balor on SmackDown Live. So I feel it would help freshen him up and get him off Raw, where he's just, like I said, honestly, he feels like he's lost in the shuffle from time to time. So hopefully we see Finn Balor move from Raw to SmackDown. Number 2 on my list here is Sasha Banks. I feel a move from Raw to SmackDown would be the best for the boss. And I hope Bayley moves with her too. If you're going to draft Sasha, I feel Bayley needs to move with her just to continue the feud that they've had that's really hasn't gotten out of the next gear. I mean, they're building and building and building, and we're waiting on one of these two to finally, officially, we've seen hints of it. We've seen them brawl backstage, but then it's like, are they still friends or aren't they still friends? Why are we still dragging this out? Now they're going to have a match this Monday on Raw. Does that mean we were just building to, Sasha versus Bayley, only for it to happen on TV? To me, that doesn't make sense to me. That should be saved for the pay-per-view Backlash. So I feel if Sasha gets moved, I'm going to throw Bayley in there as well. But number 2 is Sasha Banks. But I feel you should move both of them over, to be honest. That way you can continue the feud. And it just doesn't end kind of abruptly with a match on Raw. To me, that would just be pointless for all this build that you've been giving to them to end in that little bit of payoff. So Sasha Banks, number 2 on my list here. And the number 1 person is The Miz. Based on The Miz and The Miztourage losing this past Monday on Raw, kind of gave me a clear indication of where I think he's headed. Obviously, the reason I would want to see The Miz move from Raw to SmackDown is to do The Miz versus Daniel Bryan. That was set up beautifully from 2016 onward, and then when The Miz got drafted from SmackDown to Raw, it was just like, man, they really had something special there, and we never really got a payoff for it. And now with Daniel Bryan being cleared to wrestle, I think if you want to do that match, you could do it maybe at WrestleMania next year, or possibly as early as SummerSlam. I would love to see The Miz versus Daniel Bryan. So at either one of those stages, there's a built-in story for that reason alone. And plus, I felt Miz had more success. I mean, he got, into a nice groove towards the end there on Raw, but I felt, from 2016 to early 2017, Miz was on a tear. I think if you move him back to SmackDown, he could easily be in that top contendership for the SmackDown Championship. The WWE Championship, excuse me. So I'm predicting, and Miz is that is why Miz is my number 1 pick to move from Raw to SmackDown. Let's go to the opposite end of the spectrum here. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. These are my top 5 picks to move from SmackDown to Raw. Number 5 on my list, I have the Usos. Love Jimmy and Jay. To me, honestly, they're one of the best, if not the best team in WWE today. And let's face it, they've done all they can on SmackDown Live, facing the likes of The New Day, facing the likes of Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. Breezango, they fought them. We've seen them pretty much fight Chad Gable, Shelton Benjamin. They fought every team on SmackDown Live. There really is nothing left for them to do on SmackDown Live. So I feel a move to Monday Night Raw would easily freshen things up. You could have them face AOP. Great to see them finally added to the main roster. You got, who else here? You got Matt Hardy, Bray Wyatt. Newly formed team there. Those could be some fun matches. So yeah, I feel a move from SmackDown to Raw would freshen the Usos up. Like I said, there's only so many times, as good as the matches are between the New Day and the Usos, I feel like, it's time for things to be freshened up, honestly, for both tag team divisions. So hopefully a move to move the Usos from Raw to SmackDown, or from SmackDown to Raw, would facilitate that. So that's why they are number 5 on my list. Number 4 on my list here is Becky Lynch. Shame how criminally underutilized Becky Lynch has been on SmackDown. I mean, she's been there, but, hasn't been her time to shine. She's just kind of been, she's been on TV. She wins some matches, she loses some matches, but she really hasn't done anything of note. That is why I feel a change of scenery would easily benefit Becky Lynch, one of my favorites on the entire either roster. Both women's divisions. She is easily one of the most talented, and I'd say one of the more underutilized women on that show. I feel like you move her from SmackDown to Raw, and depending on who is in that Raw women's division, she could have a fresh set of opponents. So not sure who she would face if she would move over, because I have a feeling both women's divisions, outside of course of their respective champions, would look vastly different. And I feel they need to be different, especially when it comes to the SmackDown side of things. But hopefully Becky moves from SmackDown to Monday Night Raw. Move on to number 3 on my list, Rusev. I would love to see Rusev move from SmackDown to Raw. I felt you got something with Rusev. He has the momentum. Rusev Day. Of course, today is Rusev Day, so happy Rusev Day one and all. But hope the rumors of Rusev leaving are just that. It's rumors, it's innuendo, doesn't hold up. Like I said, you got something here with Rusev. The crowd wants to get behind him, so get behind him, turn him babyface, and see what you can do with him. What have you got to lose? Because remember, WWE, they don't sabotage people, right? Now, why would they do that? Well, we all know that's not true, and they do. So hopefully the case is Rusev moving from SmackDown to Raw. Like I said, I feel a change of scenery would benefit him as well. So we'll see what happens, but WWE, make Monday nights Rusev Day every single week. Number 2 on my list is Kevin Owens. Hopefully Monday nights once again become the Kevin Owens show. I feel Kevin Owens had his greatest success on Monday nights. I felt his move to SmackDown, to me, it just never quite clicked. The Face of America stuff, his matches with AJ, they were okay. But teaming him and Sami Zayn, has been enjoyable. But now, with them being fired, where they headed to next, at the end of all this, at the very least, I feel Sami should stay on SmackDown, better suited for that show. Kevin should stay on Raw, or should be drafted to Raw, I should say. I just feel he is a natural fit for Monday Night Raw. And I feel you need to keep Kevin and Sami apart, just due to the fact of I enjoy seeing them work against each other, wrestle, but there's only so many times you can go to that match, and I feel we're at our limit with that. We need to split these two apart and just say enough is enough. So Kevin Owens, number 2 here on my list. Number one person I'd like to see drafted from SmackDown Live to Raw. I feel this guy drastically needs a change of pace, change of scenery, relight that fire inside of him, is Randy Orton. It's been a long, long time since I've cared about something that Randall Keith Orton has done. And let's face it, this guy should be a heel. Blandy Orton, he's so boring as a babyface. And now you're doing him versus Jinder for the United States Championship. My God, please. Please don't go beyond Backlash. Please just be one and done. I cannot take another Randy Orton Jinder Mahal match. I don't have to see that match again for as long as I live. So hopefully Orton moves from SmackDown to Raw, because let's face it, he's done everything that he can with that roster on SmackDown Live. And I feel a change of scenery for him would be beneficial. Move him back to Raw, turn him heel, and there's a bevy of opponents for him on Monday nights. So yeah, those are the top 5 superstars that I would like to see drafted from Raw to SmackDown and vice versa in the upcoming Superstar shakeup on Monday and Tuesday, respectively. So that, guys, is my top 10 video. I want to say thank you all for watching this video. Be sure to comment down below and leave your thoughts on which superstars you would like to see drafted from Raw to SmackDown and vice versa. So that does it once again. Be sure to click my like and subscribe button here on youtube.com/DanielGuyza412 for all my latest thoughts. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at DanielGuyza412. And be sure to check out my Facebook page. Give it that, show some likes over there. at facebook.com/DanielGaza1994. So that does it, guys, for this video. Thank you all for watching. I will catch you guys up here later on Monday. I'll be back up here for my live Raw review breaking down what happened in the Superstar shakeup. So stay tuned for that. So until then, thanks for watching, guys.